The Yankees just robbed the MLB as an under-the-radar player in the National League has just been acquired by the Yankees to help it fix a huge problem in their lineup. We'll break down the implications of this move and how Brian Cashman's new strategy to this deadline will impact this team moving forward. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Yankees Digest, giving you guys a daily dose of Yankees content every day of the week. And happy Hall of Fame Day. Cooperstown, New York is where CC Sabathia and Ichiro Suzuki will be enshrined in the Hall of Fame, so congrats to them. But if you guys are not subscribed to these videos, if you're not a part of that 24.4% who are subscribed, let's subscribe. We have deadline news every single day, breaking news from the Yankees as they're making a lot of trades, and we'll recap all of it here on Yankees Digest. But let's get right into this video as talking about Ahmed Rosario, as Ahmed Rosario was acquired from the New York Yankees, and Jack Curry broke the news yesterday, saying that the Yankees have acquired infielder Ahmed Rosario from the Nationals. Rosario, a right-handed batter, has an .816 OPS versus left-handed pitching. He's played third base, second base, shortstop, and outfield this season. Yanks will deal pitcher Clayton Beeter and Braum Martinez, and in Dominican Summer League. Smart addition from Jack Curry on Twitter/X as he broke the news. And, just looking at more of this trade when we look at how Ahmed Rosario is now going to the Yankees, what the Yankees are giving up, just to start off here, Clayton Beeter, who the Yankees were hoping could be a good option out of the bullpen as a long relief, but also someone who can be a great starter in this league. The Nationals are looking at his potential, and the Yankees are going to have to give him up in this trade. And then Braum Martinez, kind of like an unknown summer Dominican League signing that the Yankees threw in with this trade. So when you look at it at face value, not a lot you have to give up. Rosario is also a rental, so not a lot you have to give up for Ahmed Rosario, kind of an under-the-radar signing and something that I really want to break down here on Yankees Digest. And just looking at his stats so far this season, as I mentioned, he is a rental. He's only owed $2 million this season. But when looking at his batting average, a .270 batting average is definitely very acceptable when looking at what he is going to be in this with this Yankees team. Someone who is a platoon bat, who can be at third base, second base, shortstop, and in the outfield. Someone who can come in there and really be a jack of all trades, master of none. And when looking at his 5 home runs this season, not a lot of pop when looking at how he does at the plate, but he does get on base, and he does do it at an effective rate and at an above average rate for the Nationals this season. And he has been in the majors. Has been in this New York market before, starting off his career with the Mets, but he's just kind of been around the block a lot so far this in his career. So a guy who the Yankees can plug and play any sort of position and really expect him to get on base, and definitely a better upgrade in the depth department that the Yankees really need moving forward in the season, with injuries coming down with Aaron Judge, another guy that you can plug and play into the outfield. And looking at his career stats so far, his batting average is very above average, and that's something that is very, very nice to see because, when looking at his worst season, he was batting .248, and he has just gotten better, and that was his first year. So he's gotten better with the batting average, kind of been very consistent with his batting average, .287, .282, .283. So he's getting on base at an effective clip, and he's played in both leagues. He's played in the National League, he's played in the AL League, or American League, excuse me. So he has played at different competition. He's used to all this competition now, and he has been able to adjust to new markets. He's been able to adjust to the New York market. He's been able to adjust different teams because he's also been a trade deadline tradition, as he's been traded at this deadline for a couple seasons in a row. So he's used to moving. He's used to just kind of doing what he needs to do any sort of team he's on, and now adding to the New York Yankees, definitely going to add a little bit more of an expectation on him. And just a little bit more on this signing. This was from RJ Anderson at CBS Sports. He said Rosario could, in theory, form a platoon with the aforementioned McMahon. McMahon, for his career, has posted just a 686 OPS when opposed by a left-handed pitcher. Alternatively, Rosario could serve in a super utility role, seeing action at various positions while slotting in against southpaws. And this is definitely interesting because the Yankees have this sort of thing where it's baseball. It's very unpredictable. You don't know who is going to get injured. You don't know what is going to happen. So having someone who is a super utility, someone who can fill in that void. We've already seen Aaron Judge go down, going on the 10-day IL with a flexor strain. Now having someone like Rosario who has played in the outfield, yes, a little bit less than you would want, but he has also had that experience in the outfield so far this season in his career. So just looking at his last 7 games, 269 batting average, 1 home run, 7 hits, and 2 RBIs. So this last week, he's been very acceptable at the plate. And in his last 30 games, 270 batting average, 4 home runs, 15 RBIs, and 27 hits. So he's going to get on base. Boone can put him in any position in the lineup. So if he's going to be at leadoff, if the Yankees are trying to look at a leadoff hitter, he can definitely do that because he's had experience that in his career. But also, at the bottom of the lineup to add a little bit more of a bat at the bottom of the lineup. And just looking at his splits so far against righties and lefties, he dominates left-handed pitching. The Yankees struggled against Ranger Suarez yesterday, as he is one of the best lefties in the MLB. And Rosario can add that value against left-handers. You look at his batting average, 299 to 230. That is a whirlwind of a difference. And when looking at his on-base percentages, slugging, everything is much better against lefties, which you would expect, but he is definitely doing a little bit more as a right-handed bat. Someone who doesn't really have those expectations, he's going over them with a close of a 300 average. So definitely a really good option to put against southpaws, adding a little bit more of an advantage the Yankees can take going into the rest of this season, as the Yankees are vying for the division and also they're vying for a playoff position. And just looking at what these deals have made for the Yankees so far, Oswald Peraza, Corbett Vivas were the Yankees starting third basemen. Now adding McMahon and Rosario, just a big difference when looking at the depth of this team, because now the Yankees are more deep at the infield and as well as utility. And that's definitely really good because the Yankees last season, they had some utility players that could play first base, second base, third base. They had a lot of different guys that they could plug in and play when they went to the World Series. So now they're trying to add those platoon bats and add a little bit more of an advantage against different pitchers. You don't really know what you're going to see. McMahon, now Rosario, definitely really good, intriguing options the Yankees can plug and play into this lineup. And, just a little bit more on what the Yankees are going to go for moving forward is that bottom line, going from Oswald Peraza and Corbett Vivas to Ryan McMahon and Ahmed Rosario is a solid start to this trade deadline for the Yankees on their infield. Now the focus needs to transition to pitching. New York needs multiple relievers and a starter, if not more. And yeah, I mean, it's definitely very, very interesting because now Brian Cashman has to move from the hitting side to the pitching side, because we've seen this bullpen over the past week. It's been dreadful. You definitely got to add a top flight bullpen arm that can go in there and help these guys and help this bullpen, because the Yankees, their starting pitching hasn't been great, but their bullpen is blowing up games night in and night out. So Brian Cashman's definitely got to take advantage of the bullpen, and then adding a starter that could definitely really help Yankee fans to kind of calm down a little bit, because you want to have a starter in here, a number 3 starter behind Carlos Rodon and Max Fried. I mentioned it multiple times. Max Fried, Carlos Rodon, and then that 3 starter is kind of up in the air. You have Luis Gil coming back, but you don't know what he's going to be. So you want to have that surefire number 3 starter to come in here. So bullpen and starter, it's going to be definitely interesting who the Yankees are going to get. I want to give it to you guys. What do you guys think regarding bullpen and starting? Who you guys want for the Yankees to add at this deadline? So it really is, with this Rosario pickup, it adds flexibility, it adds versatility to this Yankees lineup. Volpe has been struggling. Sometimes Jazz Chisholm needs a day off. So you now have depth where you can put in Rosario, and it definitely helps with the matchups for this Yankees team moving forward. And having a 299 average against lefties, definitely more of an advantage the Yankees have so far moving forward. But that's going to do it for another edition of Yankees Digest. Appreciate you guys tuning in every single day. We have the deadline on Thursday. Me and Chris are going to be pumping out content for you guys, and anything that's breaking news is going to be right here on Yankees Digest. But I hope you guys have a great day, and let's go Yankees.